Welcome to A Real Authority. Today I'm talking about Thrash, the brand new shark thriller directed by the guy who made Violent Night, Tommy Wirkola. Apologies if I sound tired, that's because I am. I've kind of been incredibly busy, but I wanted to review this as soon as I had the opportunity because it's just one of those movies where it kind of does make sense to review it as soon as possible. I should probably elaborate, but I guess starting off with the plot. Best way I could describe it is this Category 5 hurricane is causing devastation in this town, and we follow a few characters as they basically navigate the storm, but also sharks. Specifically, bull sharks are directed into this town, so now we see the characters try to find their way out of this situation or get eaten alive. I haven't seen a lot of Wirkola's work outside of Violent Night, so I kind of went in with those expectations, and Violent Night was honestly solid. But I mean, Thrash, I was interested. It was initially supposed to release in theaters this upcoming July under the title Shiver, which makes me question why they renamed it to Thrash. But regardless, this movie just dropped on Netflix, so here I am to talk about it. Starting off with the positives, I do feel like the acting's solid around the board, although I feel like the screenplay doesn't really have a main character. It's more or less an ensemble, which I do feel is... I'll get into complaints in a little bit. Phoebe Deneuve, I hope I'm pronouncing her name right, but she was easily the best performance in the entire movie, even though the movie doesn't really focus on her as much as, I don't know, some of the other characters. It's really hard to, describe this movie positively without getting into the negatives, but I do feel like she gives the best performance. No slay against any of the other actors. They do solid. Wirkola's direction was definitely inventive, plus inventive cinematography as well. It really does feel like it's trying to make this situation huge on scale and suspense, and I do feel there are moments and scenes where that does work. Consistency is definitely an issue, but there are moments where you do realize, hey, I'm kind of engaged in this. The suspense was really working for me. Finally, the runtime, I do feel maybe some pacing issues exist, but I do feel at an hour and 26 minutes, it definitely keeps it in the pocket to the point where, yeah, it's going to be an easy watch for you. That said, it's flawed. I don't think anybody was expecting, the next best shark movie because Jaws clearly is still the champion in that category, with the only movie coming close to Shallows. I haven't seen Dangerous Animals. But I mean, this was initially supposed to release in theaters, so it kind of had that, I don't know, anticipation. And I do feel, while it does live up to some of that, it definitely is not exactly a perfect watch. It's definitely easy to watch, but you can't get past some of the negatives. I guess starting off with just the screenplay, I do feel with Wirkola's screenplay, it works in places. I already mentioned how there are moments which really did land dramatically and suspensefully, but ultimately the characters aren't really developed in a way which you really can get invested in them. Again, there are moments, and Diver's character is clearly the most engaging and interesting character in this situation, being a pregnant woman who's having to deal with the possibility of going into labor in this situation, but this movie doesn't solely focus on her. It does focus on other characters who, aside from one, actually two, do not intertwine. So it's basically this sort of, I don't want to say anthology, but it's really disconnected plot with a lot of characters. And you honestly do not care for most of them because they don't really get that much development aside from the basics. Maybe you can latch onto the basics as much as you want to, but this movie really needed a core character or a core storyline to focus on instead of going in so many directions with all these other characters. Also, dumb character decisions. I do feel with a movie like this, you really do not want dumb character decisions. Granted, it's in a life or death situation in which someone might make these decisions in favor of some smarter decisions. Still don't mean the audience can't call them out and absolutely groan at the fact that they make them, because yeah, there are so many dumb character decisions in here, and it's what are you doing? You can easily find a way to get out of this situation, and yet you don't. There might be details that I'm missing, but generally, yeah, you don't exactly vibe well with some of the decisions in this movie. They do feel dumb. Plus, even though this movie can be categorized as a high-octane, suspenseful thriller, I really do feel the best aspect of this movie is its drama. Again, some of the suspenseful moments work, but at a point, it kind of does feel like Wirkola is injecting his Violent Night flavor, in which toward the end, it kind of takes a more goofy, energetic approach. And that does compromise what good drama it had, because it feels am I supposed to be getting an edge-of-your-seat thriller out of this, or am I supposed to be, laughing at all the proceedings? I don't know, in terms of edge-of-your-seat thrillers, there's a difference between gripping edge-of-your-seat thrillers with great storytelling and ones that just want to give you a good time. I don't know, maybe Thrash can be categorized as both, but I feel its attempt at being both. Individually speaking, I don't know, it just clashes. In terms of the comedy, especially with the editing, it just feels jarring. Add to the fact that the CGI is literal video game graphics, and you got a movie that you probably wasn't expecting anything amazing out of it, and if you're a fan of these sorts of movies, you'll definitely get a blast out of it. But I can't say it's exactly a good movie, but there's enough in here for you to just casually watch on streaming, maybe as background noise. So now I'm realizing maybe Netflix was the best way to go. Since it's not great, it's not terrible. Yeah, Netflix was the right place to go, 5 out of 10. Have that rating for a reason, and this is absolutely one of the movies that this rating deserves. Mileage may vary, but for me, it has an equal amount of fun, it has an equal amount of dumb. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications, and comment your thoughts on the movie, and let me know what your favorite shark movie. We already know what it is. Let me know our underrated shark movies that escape the pit that is, I don't know, generic shark movies or Asylum movie, Sharknado, but not Sharknado. I don't know. Let me know what your favorite non-Jaws shark movie is. All right, peace.